who in their right mind says, yeah, Hawk Tuah, that's going to be popping in 20 years, you know? I can't wait for the 20th anniversary of Hawk Tuah when we're all around to celebrate and so excited about it. It's like, come on, you should know better. If you did not know, if you've been like living under a rock for many months, Hawk Tuah girl, all the craze. She was starting a Hawk Tuah crypto coin, which was clearly a scam from the beginning and everyone could have saw it coming, but she did have genuine loyal fans of these dumb people who thought it was funny the first time, who went in and bought this coin, and she scammed people out of $440 million. Now, we don't know how much of that she got. We just know that she was the person promoting this project. This project was packaged around her. And on top of that, she was working with a lot of people who are definitely scammers as well. But the last thing we really heard from her was,
hey guys, I hate to interrupt you, Nick. Hello there. But anywho, I'm going to go to bed and I'll see you guys tomorrow.
so that's the last thing we heard. She went to bed and she apparently just never woke up or never came back because, you know, we're now months since this rug pull happened and we just haven't heard anything of her until this past week. This past week is the return of Hawk Tuah, not on her own, but through a leak. Now, if you didn't know, she has the Talk Tuah podcast, where it's her podcast where she doesn't really do anything. She just talks randomly about stuff. And there is one episode now that is post the rug pull, right after the rug pull happened, where she sat down with FaZe Banks to talk about crypto and talk about what just went on with the entire rug pull and her thoughts going on through everything. This is not an official episode. She didn't release this on her own terms. This got leaked. So there's very well maybe that she's still like in hiding or she's off on a random island or something, but at least we've got something to go off of. So we're going to go ahead and get into this, and we're going to try to, it's 39 minutes. I don't know. We're going to try to, we may watch the whole thing. Who knows?
Guys,
we'll see.
I'm back with another episode of Talk Tuah, and I'm here with Banks.
There he is.
How's it going?
It's going good. Life's crazy right now. I don't know. I say no to every single fucking podcast. The ongoing joke on Impulsive that I stood them up 4 or 5 times. This isn't necessarily my thing, but you're in an interesting position right now, and I feel like it's my duty to come on here and talk to you. You seem like
oh yeah, if you didn't know, FaZe Banks is a huge crypto guy. I don't know how reputable his projects are. I'm sure he's maybe done a rug pull once or twice potentially. Who knows? I'm not I feel like anyone in crypto these days has scammed someone in some way or made a project that's not very good for the money they make off of it. But FaZe, even when Kanye was going on his big rant the other day saying all this horrible stuff, FaZe is jumping in like, hey, let me help you make a cryptocurrency, like the dumbest thing ever. So it's like FaZe just likes making money, and like you can't fully hate him for that.
Sweet enough girl, and I feel like I know more or less what happened with you. We're gonna get into all that. I brought a couple crypto nerds with me. We're gonna sit down and talk.
Teach me.
Yeah.
She says, teach me about crypto after I just scammed people out of $440 million with crypto. I know I've already done the whole scam thing, but I'd like to learn about it now in the aftermath.
Yeah, no, I feel good. How do you feel?
I don't know. I'm still a little shook up about it.
How was the nap?
It was a very long nap. I would say. That's what sucks about it too. I had to read that off a phone and like put it in my words. I was like, I'm idiot. I'm going to bed.
This is mainly for me, and again, why I wanted to come here and talk about this is because millions of people are going to watch this. Everybody's kind of waiting to hear what you say. Everyone's kind of waiting to see how this plays out. And 99% of these people don't know shit about crypto. Just
and
like
I'm
you.
one of them.
Just like you.
I'm
Exactly.
one of them.
Exactly. And the ongoing joke on CT right now is like, if she just did this 2 days after Trump, she'd be okay.
Exactly.
Which isn't necessarily true because of the way.
I'll just be very real. I don't think you should be touching a project of crypto if you don't understand the concepts of crypto. Like me personally, I would never do a crypto project even though I've read an entire book on Bitcoin, an entire book on Ethereum, mind you, these books came out talking about blockchain before like all of the craze of the 2020s and the rug pulls and everything. I was learning like the back end stuff of it. And I do think crypto is a good thing. It's just in the hands of a lot of the wrong people right now. And it seems like there's nobody actually in this to do good with it. It's more so everybody's trying to just get rich quick through crypto and do these dumb projects. So I don't think if I was getting into a project like this where I was being told I would make millions of dollars, I would do a little bit of research on understanding what I'm doing, especially when, you know, crypto's known for doing scams. Like, all you got to do is search up crypto. Well, actually, let's do it right now. Crypto. Is scams on here? There's arbitrage. I don't see scams. Scams comes up when you add a S. Like, it's notorious for scams. And I feel like even if you're like not that into crypto, just doing your lightest research you would understand, oh, I need to do some deep due diligence on this. But her entire brand, Hailey's entire brand, is not about, you know, doing the research or doing things the right way or the efficient way. She got a viral video, and then from there she's trying to capitalize on it in a way where, you know, she doesn't care about how it's gonna affect her long term. She's just like, I gotta keep being as big as possible and just grab everything at once while the opportunity stands. I really think Hailey had the opportunity to have a long-term career here, but she definitely got guided by the wrong people. She got guided by people who were like, all right, you need to do this thing, even though I spent, like Logan Paul or FaZe Banks or somebody, they spent many years building their online presence. And now they're going to turn around and tell Hailey, you need to be doing the exact same thing we are currently doing. We skip all the 5-year steps that we had before building our stuff and just jump right into it. And I think it's overwhelmed her. Maybe even like she might just be fully ran by a agency. She may not even have control over anything. But it's just like all of this seems like it's a missed opportunity. There was potentially some good here, even though I hate the meme itself. But it seems like she turned around and just said, no, I'm just going to do everything all at once and crash out as fast as possible.
It was done, and that's kind of the whole point, right? There's a right and a wrong way to do this, and if you have interest, it's mostly important that your network and the people that you trust to walk into this market are exactly that, people that you can trust.
I think that's where I messed up. For sure.
I can only imagine, fuck crypto, I can only imagine stepping into everything that your life's been the last year and the amount of time that you have been. I've been doing this whole social media content thing at a high level for like 15 years. I'm officially fucking like unk. And I still don't, you know, have it totally figured out. Someone like you know, and my shit was gradual. I like gradually got to where I am today, and you were like,
yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. Like he did gradual. I think, like, obviously when you've been put into the spotlight that quickly, you can't go as gradual as someone like FaZe did. But I don't think she just tried to tackle too much at once. You know, after, you know, you got the big Hawk Tuah meme. Decide what you're going to do. Are you going to start a podcast and slowly build on that? Are you going to start a YouTube channel and slowly build on that? Do you want to become a Twitch streamer and slowly build on that? Instead, it was like, no, we need to live stream. We need to go to events. We need to do a crypto rug pull. We need to do a podcast and a movie and a TV and a talk show and everything at once. We got to get as much merch out there as possible. And it leads to this, where everything blows up in your face.
Fucking parabolic.
I want to start by saying thank you to all my true fans and all the people that actually watch my stuff and they keep up with me. We're trying to sort out all the pieces and stuff to like get all this figured out and make everything right. Oh my God, I'm gonna cry.
No, don't cry. Don't cry. Don't cry. Everything's gonna be good. We're gonna be good. And guys, listen, just as a temperature check, I just want to say, the first thing that she said to me off camera was, the minute you DM'd me, I really wish I just texted you and called you. And that speaks to me because of how I was introduced to crypto, and we'll get into that. But I'm also kind of on the back end of things too. Like, their team's been very forthcoming. My team is vetting them the fuck out right now and has been for the last week. Thread Guy and Frank, they're going to be on this episode. It's such a weird blend and mash of worlds. No,
You're rolling out.
don't cry, Hailey. It's fine.
I want to know more about him talking to the guys on the back end, because the guys on the back end do seem like straight up scammers, and it seems like their intention all along was to scam, because like that's why they were reaching out to her in the first place. You know, that's the whole thing these rug pullers do. They try to find the biggest face possible to put out a big billboard and then just take it all as quickly as possible. So I doubt that, you know, they're reputable in any way. I don't understand how that would possibly be reputable.
It's all going to be okay. Life is going to be okay. Oh, Hailey, no.
Oh, don't do that.
No.
Don't stare at me.
No.
You just grab.
You're adorable.
Just give
It's
us
going to
a
be
minute.
okay. It's going to be okay.
Well, so basically how this idea got brought to me, it was supposed to be like what they call it, a long-term coin. And the guy that ran the account, he was like, oh, we're going to change like the way.
I'm sorry, you can't do a long-term coin with Hawk Tuah. Like, I think even she knows that, like, it's going to be a dying fad. You can't, like, who in their right mind says, yeah, Hawk Tuah, that's going to be popping in 20 years, you know? I can't wait for the 20th anniversary of Hawk Tuah when we're all around to celebrate and so excited about it. It's like, come on, you should know better. You should genuinely know better.
Everybody thinks of crypto. Crypto is going to be a good place. And I feel really bad for all the people that got affected by it, and it just didn't go the way I planned. And all the money out of this episode is getting donated to all the animals that have been affected by the fires up here.
And I'll match it. Me, Ricky, I'll match it, whatever. It's really, really important for me to make sure that we address everything and get through all of exactly what happened. I think that it's really, really important at this point to be totally transparent about everything that happened with you and your partners and this launch and in crypto, and what makes this bad and what makes what Iggy Azalea is doing maybe even good, and what makes Trump's doing different, right? I want to get through all that. So I brought two guys that
Dog, Trump's is just a rug pull. I have no idea what Iggy Azalea is doing. I've not heard of anything about that. But
and do this crypto shit at a very high level. I brought Thread Guy, he's the biggest streamer in crypto, and I brought Frank D Gods, who launched a very successful project last cycle, and he trades at a very high level. He's one of the best trader guys. These guys are really, really sharp, and they know this market inside and out. And most importantly, they have front-facing brands, and their faces are everywhere, and we're all docs, and we all have to move militant, and we're all super, super passionate about conversations like this, because crypto done right is good for everybody.
You can still rug pull with like a very public profile, by the way. Like, it's a lot less. So I give a big example. Logan Paul's NFTs, his little zoo animals or whatever they were. He is an extremely public figure who is still wildly successful and doing all these types of things. And he did what is basically a rug pull, but you got to do it a little bit different. You can't do it as scummy. But what you are doing is still taking millions and millions of dollars and bringing almost zero value to the table. You're bringing a PNG to the table and maybe like a few little things here and there that still do not equivalent to the millions you made off of it at all. So that is my main issue with crypto. I will say there are some good uses for crypto. There are some good uses for even NFTs, I believe. I have NFTs. I have Disney backed NFTs and everything that I still own. And I think in the short term, it is still a get rich quick. I don't see the real uses for it yet, but I do have ideas in the back of my head, especially with AR and all that of what NFTs could be eventually. But the reality is that we're too early. Everything happening right now is just a scam. And if you ever get told, oh, this is the future, I would be very, very cautious about it. Or wait until it crashes, because there's a very high chance that it's just going to crash. And then you can go, if you do actually still believe in the project, go in and buy in after the crash. Don't buy right before the release, because almost nothing, I can't name you a single project or a single anything that has more value than it did at its release point. So that would be my suggestion to anybody trying to get into it. And I just, but like I was saying with the Logan Paul stuff, it's very, very easy for, you know, to have a phase here is saying like, oh, we have public images. You can still be a scammer with a public image. And all you have to do is say, hey, look, the project wasn't a rug pull, you know, it has uses, but like you're still like making millions and millions compared to like no value added.
And everything that happened to you is really, really bad for the market. It's really, really bad for us. I hear everything that you're saying, and you're a human being first. And no matter which way this falls, I mean, it might not ever be in a spot where it's totally good. You might have to hear about this for the rest of your life. Probably. But let's just be transparent and make it right.
Okay.
Hailey, pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you.
Cool. Let's bring in the
Can I have my
nerds.
tissue go? All right, you guys. I only got one sponsor left because there's some real ones, and they've stuck with me since every bit of this started.
Is it
Game
gambling?
Time believes in me, y'all, and I believe in them.
Game Time's more loyal than most of y'all's mans out here.
Yeah, some of those guys just leave it the first opportunity they get. Not Game Time.
Hell yeah.
I'll be real. It is absolutely insane to be doing a sponsor in your response video. Like, people are claiming you just stole millions of dollars from them. I don't care if you need the money. Do not put a sponsor in a response video to you stealing money. That is like actually insane.
This podcast ain't going nowhere, and neither are them Game Time deals.
Game Time gives you the best price guarantee, and Talk Tuah gives you the best damn time. So if you can't decide what to do for shit like me, then you've got Game Time Pick. It filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets to find the best value. They got exclusive flash deals and sponsored deals on tickets for football, basketball, baseball, concerts, comedy, and a hell of a lot more. Pretty wild too. If you change your mind and want a bedrock last minute, they got 24-hour returns guarantee, which means you can return those tickets within 24 hours of purchase for a full credit to your Game Time account. No questions asked. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code TALKTUAH for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code TALKTUAA.
Use code TALKTUAH. You can trust me this time.
For $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. What time is it?
Game Time.
All right, Mrs. Hailey. This is Thread Guy, the guy I was telling you about, the streamer guy.
Hi, Hailey. Thanks for having us.
Well, of course.
And then
Yeah, these guys are definitely scammers as well. These guys have definitely rug pulled. Maybe not in a very like forward rug pull way, but they have definitely like gotten more value than what they've given. I promise you that.
this is Frank Degots.
Hey, Hailey.
Frank Digons.
That's it, yeah. In the merch, too. Yeah, I got the merch on.
I love it.
Tuah, shout out.
These are 2 of 10 of my little crypto nerds, I call them. And these guys do this at the highest level, and they're gonna help us through this conversation. And you have with us, he's off camera, but do you want to introduce?
I have my lawyer here too.
What's your name? Christian Barker. Okay.
Okay, that's the only smart person in the room right now. The only smart person in the room is the lawyer.
Cool. How did this all happen?
So
Explain.
this idea got brought to me like months ago, and I was kind of, I don't want to do that. I don't know anything about it, and I've never heard the space is a good place to be. So I was like, I don't know
Bro, she heard about it being a scam, and then she said, oh yeah, let's do this.
about it, which we trusted the guy that come to us. He was a friend of, I don't know, a friend of a friend, I guess you can put him. That was my biggest mistake.
Yeah,
I probably should have looked.
He was a friend of someone she's probably been a friend with for maybe like a month or two. I'll tell you that. That's what it is. Because like she just got famous. She didn't know any big people in crypto before that. So it's like, unless she is an industry plant like people have claimed, I don't think she is, honestly, anymore. I seriously don't. But it's definitely someone not trustworthy or not vetted enough, known long enough to do anything with.
Looked into.
We
him
heard a little bit
more.
about him. Apparently, he had like a pretty strong network in LA and kind of used that as leverage to, give himself a vouch. And I think the guy probably more or less overstated his qualifications in executing something like this. Fair to say?
Yes.
Which is usually the case.
Yeah, that's 99% of the time. What happened after that?
Well, really, everything went good, and then I noticed, like, the day of the launch, he was, like, a little weird about it. Like, he was pacing around on the porch, and I don't know, it just makes you suspicious. And then we finished a podcast that day, and then I ended up going in that room over there to get on that live, where I was, like, scripted to say this, that, and the other, but put it in my own words. So I done that, and then that's when you got on, and you were asking him questions, and he couldn't answer them. So I was like, okay, something
charitable than coffee. I think coffee kind of has a little bit of disdain for crypto in general. Us, on the other hand, we live and breathe it every day. We want to see crypto succeed. We do it every single day. But coffee definitely, like, you know what I mean? He definitely asking the right questions. The way that he asks them, maybe, is why you guys can't really find a spot to like talk or have like any sort of conversation with each other. But we actually did talk to him. We had a conversation with him, and he gave us some broad questions to share and ask you. They're good questions.
Oh, that scares me if they come from him.
No, don't worry about it. Don't be scared.
He's such a scary guy.
Coffee is a little scary, but it's okay.
He means well, though.
This whole thing is a little scary. Yeah, at the end of the day, he wants to he just wants to see people move the right way. And again, that's the difference between you, Iggy, Trump, is they just simply did it the right way. There's a whole set of standards and rules that this market follows, and an etiquette that people, respect. And it's just, that's what it is, right?
Well, see, that's how it got brought to me. It was supposed to be done the right way. Like, it was going to be good. Like, half the money, it was supposed to go, like, into my charity. That's really why I agreed to do it. Just for the simple fact, putting money into that. It was a way to, like, get all my community gathered up together. It was just, I don't know. It was brought to me in, like, a positive way. Like, it was going to be something good and long-term, but it didn't go that route at all. So it was like a smack in the face.
100% of the time, the pitch is always going to be positive. It's we're the right guys, we're the ones, etc., etc. Again, I think that's why we're here. Thread, Frank, maybe introduce yourselves and give your.
Yeah. Hey, Frank. Been in crypto for like 4 years. I guess, do we just go to the questions first, or?
Yeah, whatever you want.
Yeah.
Like natural.
Well, how much, did they offer you money up front? This is what I think the internet always wants to know is, like, do they offer you money up front, part of the tokens? Like, how did that work? Like,
so the deal, I can speak to that. So the deal that she did was like this deal where they paid her $125,000 up front. They were supposed to pay her $200,000 after the launch of the coin within 30 days. She was supposed to have full transparency to tokenomics and everything going on, which they did stay in communication about it, but it just was an ever-evolving game plan, essentially. So back-end participation was to always be mutually agreed, and what they had agreed on in the tokenomics was there was a 10% allocation of the token that would be on a 1-year lock, and then a 3-year drip after that. Of that 10%, half of that was supposed to go to the company that created the project, and half was to go to her. So out of 100% of the token, she would have had 5% at the end. Obviously, she has lawyer, manager, business manager, so even that 5% would have been cut down by over a quarter due to people that she has to pay out on her non-crypto.
So all the structure you just described, what happened to all that?
It's not like it has dissolved. That on launch, 3% of the token was made available for public trading. A lot of this information we found out since the launch. We, as in Hailey's internal non-crypto team, but 17% was given to pre-sale investors, 2/3 of which approximately sold the Hailey Welch. So there is 20% in circulation.
And just to be clear about where you kind of jumped into this, you were telling us in the back room that this kind of all was happening even without you really knowing or having view on any of it until post. You know, you're handling the cleanup and trying to protect Hailey and trying to do right by Hailey now, but you didn't have the opportunity to like.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay.
I negotiated the contract with the company. We have like accounting transparency rules and requirements that I added to the contract. SEC compliance requirements I added into the contract that they would have to do as project manager. And so we continued to inquire all along the process about the tokenomics. It was kind of a shifting narrative and explanation of tokenomics. The most recent tokenomics that were given to us prior to the launch had the pre-sale investors being on a 1-month lock with a 1-year drip after that. That's pretty obvious on chain that didn't happen. But 80% of the supply is still in control. The dev still controls 80%.
And who are they?
I do not know who the dev is. That was never disclosed to us. All I know is it's a gentleman that's...
So see, the problem with the developing side of like projects like these and products like these is they can do whatever the fuck they want, right? Like they can change this structure that sounds really pretty and nice and fair and honest. They can change it at will, right?
Especially when they control the coins, they control the keys, yeah.
So 80% of the fucking supply, and then they control all the code and stuff, all these locks that sound great again and fair and like it's gonna keep her safe. They can just be turned off right before the thing goes, and that's sounds like more or less is what happened. What would you say?
I think with memes, people in the internet like to feel like a ownership of it, and like the community wants to feel like it's organic. And so by having like a pre-sale, it makes it posting the wallet address beforehand, then you just know snipers are gonna like basically get, which I think a sniper made $1 million right when it went live. These were kind of just like really bad practices for like an organic meme coin. And so, yeah, I mean, that's honestly like, it's...
No, those two things specifically. What was the pre-sale structure exactly?
I'm not certain to the structure of the pre-sale. There was a 17% allocation. Most of the pre-sale investors, my understanding is, were based in Asia.
Okay.
And there was, again, supposed to be a 1-month lock with a 1-year drip after that.
And how much was raised for that 17%?
2.8 million.
I think that's why people were really upset for the most part, Hailey, is that...
Puts it at like 14, 15.
Yeah, it's like basically when you have a coin where people have a bunch of pre-sale, it means like a bunch of people got this early access to it.
That
so
normal people don't have access to.
That normal people don't have access to. And so I think it's less the problem that there's a coin and more just the way that it was done was really...
And just to articulate to you too,
yeah.
That is probably never the way to go. It's just not good for the health of the token. But if ever, you should know exactly who holds this token.
Correct.
Like always, like to have that be like a question mark, and like guys in Asia, it's like they're the ones who control now the destiny of this token.
It's like, who are these guys?
They at any moment upon launch, this thing could rip to fucking $100 million, and they can all just fucking suck all the liquidity out and send it to zero, and then you're again the face of it, you're the name of it, and then you're left in this situation that you've been in.
So when there's a pre-sale, nobody in the United States can buy that, right? Is that how that works?
I'm not necessarily sure.
How does that work?
Honestly, don't.
I look at it.
It's all kind of great.
Sounds about
Donald
right.
Trump just
Yeah.
dropped a fucking meme coin, so
Yeah.
I don't really. I think we're kind of all in this situation where we're figuring that stuff out. I think as a society in real time. It's all.
But the pre-sale wasn't made public, right? And so that is
that's
less
also
about
a
the
huge
fact
problem.
that there was a pre-sale and more the fact that it was hidden. And I think the biggest thing with like why people were so frustrated is less due to how the price turned out and more because it was very publicly set up like wrong to the people that are really in crypto that do it every day. You could see on like A, B, and C, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong.
And that's why, Hailey, the most important thing far and away for people like you and I in a market like crypto is transparency. It means everything. It's like it has to start and stop there, because then at that point, at least something goes wrong. You know what I mean? This is what I knew. This is what happened. And that's why conversations like these are really, really important. I think, again, I said this before, and I'd love to hear your guys' opinion on this. I think generally, like crypto Twitter, people who do this at a high level, who do this every day, more or less know what happened, because they can go, like Frank, again, we're in that back room. He's looking on chain, he sees it. It tells the whole story. That's the beautiful thing about crypto.
Yeah, I found that out later too.
Yeah, so they more or less can see what happened, and then obviously we've seen this story a million fucking times, right? So we more or less know what happens. The issue for you is the millions and millions of people who farmed views off this and made stories about this and covered it. Your average fan, the average fucking middle America 16-year-old kid who's a fan of you, just sees crypto scam, which is, again, another huge part of the conversation that I'm passionate about, where it's just like crypto already has this bad rap, and it's because of things like this, and it's because the onboarding process is flawed, the barrier to entry is flawed. You probably don't even understand half of what's being talked about right now. That's what I'm saying. It's like there's a real language barrier. And the point is, like, if you have no business in crypto, you probably shouldn't be in crypto. The only thing,
agree.
Your introduction to crypto should have been somebody. It's probably a good idea for you to DCA 20% of your money indefinitely into Bitcoin, because it's just a good investment. And then maybe you know what I mean.
What does DCA mean?
It means
dollar cost average.
Yeah, it means just like slowly buying or slowly selling. So it's actually
buy like $10 of Bitcoin a day type thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the best way that I think that you can acquire an asset like Bitcoin, because it's so volatile. It's 100,000 one day, and then it's 70,000, then it's 120. Right? It's never hit 120, but if you buy it at a consistent basis, you get the average cost of Bitcoin over the span of whatever. But it's like it's things like that. Obviously, if you're that passionate about your team sees an opportunity, that's okay. I mean, we see opportunities every day in crypto, and that's what anybody that's telling you they're not in crypto to make money is fucking lying to you, right? To a degree, some more than others, and some are more likely to fucking not stand on business and fucking do sketchy weird shit, and some are more passionate about the future of the space like us. But if you're gonna do that, if you're someone like Hailey Welch and you're gonna do that, you need to like be as careful as you can be, and you need to make sure that the people that you're doing this with are like people you really trust and qualified to do it.
Wiz Khalifa told me not to ever put your name on something you don't fully understand.
It's a really, really awesome piece of advice.
It's great advice.
I agree with
that. Was on this show. There's like a clip of that.
Yep.
That's good. Yeah, I mean that's a real clip. That's a great piece of advice.
What's the best piece of advice you'd give to Hailey?
Just like make sure that you like clear everything that's like being done in your name. Like make sure you like it. Like, don't let it get crazy. Don't let it get out of fucking whack to the point where it's like, yo, I wouldn't even fucking done that shit.
Yeah.
And it sucks that you're having to learn this the hard way, right? But
I feel like I needed to though.
That's
kind of opened my eyes a lot.
That's great. Yeah, I mean that's honestly how I was introduced to crypto to begin. I can't talk too much about it or names, whatever. But I was introduced to crypto through something very, very similar. A deal came through the Phase Pipeline, my company that's existed for over a decade. We were public at one point, came through the sales team, and a talent manager brought me this deal that for me, by every measure of my expertise and my perspective on my whole career and how it came up, this was a fucking great deal. This product came to me and said, we want you to be a spokesperson for our product. It's X, Y, and Z. It's in crypto, this cool new technology. And they like you, they like your name. They want you to do basically more or less an ad read every 2 weeks, and they'll pay you $100,000 a year salary.
Yeah, simple.
I'm like, what? Bet. That's a great deal. And also they'll give you whatever it was. I'm making this figure up, but $50,000 in tokens, whatever. I didn't know what that meant. In one ear, out the other. Could give a fuck less about that. $100K a year? Bet. That's awesome. And then upon announcing this and upon me talking about it, they used that moment as exit liquidity. They used my face as exit liquidity. At that point, I got flooded with comments. I'm like, what the fuck is happening? What the fuck is happening? Probably similar, definitely not as severe as your experience and whatever happened. And this was during a different time. This is 2020. I mean, your whole fucking timeline in 2020 was Kim Kardashian and Jake Paul and Mayweather and everybody, because this market took advantage of the fact that our market had so much influence and we had so many eyeballs and such a big audience, but we knew nothing about it, right? So very easy to manipulate us, take advantage of us, use us as exit liquidity, et cetera, et cetera. I used that opportunity. I got investigated by the SEC for fucking like 2 years over this. It cost me way more money than I made. It was one of the most miserable experiences of my life because that moment got me into crypto. So then I started doing things like buying CryptoPunks and buying more Ethereum and Bitcoin, et cetera, and meeting people like this. And I made the conscious decision that I'm never gonna allow something like this to happen to me ever again. I'm gonna know as much as I need to know about this space to keep myself safe. I'm happy that I did in a weird roundabout way. It was one of the greatest things that ever happened to me. Luckily for me, I did meet people who did it the right way, who pushed me in that direction. And I did put, I stood on business and put morals first and did it in an ethical way. And when the SEC did comb through all my shit, I had receipts on it. I had receipts on receipts of me declining deals. Like I was getting offered $500,000 to post an Instagram story to promote an NFT. You know what I mean? And saying no to things like that. So I think probably, they didn't say this explicitly, but I would imagine they see things like that and they're like, okay, this is like an honest act. They dropped everything. I probably could have gotten fined and stuff because it cost me a fuck ton of money legally and fuck all the money, like mentally. I can only imagine like how you feel and just know though, I can truly relate to all that. And that's why I agreed to come on the show. That's why I'm personally here.
I saw where you DM me and it was like in my requests and you asked if I ran my account.
Yeah.
And what I done, I still confided in the guy that ran my account and I screenshot. I was like, can I respond to him in the right way? Mm-hmm. But I don't want to confide too much in that because I thought my guy was doing everything the right way.
Again, not everything. Again, like I said, my entry to crypto was similar. You know what I mean? It was.
You had to learn from it though.
For sure. And those are the.
And you got a good team with you too. I had a dumbass working for me.
For sure.
Oh, bless him.
Again, that best case scenario, dream scenario, Frank's suggestion unironically is fucking 10 out of 10 perfect, I think, in my opinion.
I think the reason he suggested to take the money that you earned and to put it back in the token, one, it probably feels like blood money. I'm not even sure you want the money.
Dirty.
You don't want that money.
That money is gross. Two, it's sort of like, you could kind of say anything, like we could say whatever on this podcast and apologies are helpful and it goes some distance. But to actually put the money back in and be like, I didn't make any money from this. And for the people that are down, like this is the best thing I could do to help you and sort of wipe my hands clean and say that you tried is definitely number two, the best thing you could do. And I think the third is like, it probably feels really weird and uncomfortable right now, even to be talking, we're these weird guys, we just walked in, we're talking about crypto, we're saying big words. But like your life, especially being this famous person on the internet, will intersect with like the money of the internet, crypto, again at a later point. And you don't want to have this like looming
dirty
elephant in the room, like uncomfortable situation. Or maybe you do have a clean, awesome opportunity to like help crypto and do a positive thing, but you're uncomfortable and afraid of it because of like what happened.
Again, what I said as far as how the response from the general community and just there are gonna be people who only saw the bad part of it and never gave a fuck enough to like explore what actually happened, right? So you're gonna see comments for the rest of time about this.
I still see Logan Paul getting comments all the time.
100%. I mean, again, like I said,
but what did Logan Paul do? He paid him back.
Yeah, I mean, he had to make it right. And yeah, I don't know. It's at least when you see these comments in your own mind, you'll know that you made your best effort, and you'll know that your conscience is clear on it. And comments for the rest of time about this. Like,
I still see Logan
how
Paul
important I feel like that.
100%.
You have a soul, which you feel like you have. Like I said,
but what did Logan Paul do?
I got a soul. I reckon.
It feels like you do. I reckon.
I reckon. And I know there's a lot of legal stuff. I don't even know what has to get figured out in the background, but. Let it be known it was Frank Degod's suggestion. I think it's the best one.
No, I think so too. And I don't want anybody.
I unironically, I don't like anyone here, but I blah 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 blah. I unironically think that his suggestion was a great idea if they can make it happen. If he can come in and they either take legal action to get the coin back, or they buy it for some disclosed amount, because I'm sure she's got money outside of the crypto. I'm sure merch money especially, and all the other ways she's licensed her likeness, like the different apps and stuff. I don't think it's a terrible idea to go in and collect the amount that the devs are holding.
To misconstrue any of this as like us fucking like letting you off the hook or like pretending like nothing was done wrong. You definitely did a lot of things wrong here, most things wrong here. But in our opinion, there is a way to fix it. I think that's the next steps. I think focusing hard on fixing it above all else. Fuck all the legal shit. Fuck any partners that led her to slaughter on this. Like, with all due respect, fuck all those people.
Word.
And get to a place where you can, feel good about where things are at, and maybe even get to a place where the market feels good about where things are at. That would be obviously ideal. So hard focusing on that. The whole conversation we've had with you guys have been very forthcoming. Even you coming on the show, numbers, being transparent, off camera.
Well, we don't have nothing to hide.
No.
The only guy I like in all this is the lawyer. The lawyer is the only guy that's made any sense so far.
Oh, that's how it needs to be, right? Like that's the whole point.
Do you have any other questions?
How's Pookie doing?
Pookie lost money in it too.
Oh,
No.
Yeah.
Pookie, poor Pookie.
He said, "How are you gonna take my money?" I said, "I didn't do it."
Oh, that's so sad. That's so sad.
He still gives me shit about it all the time. He's like, "Yeah, I wish I had my." Can I say how much?
Yeah.
I wish I had my $300 back. I was like, "Well."
That's funny.
Yeah, me too.
Did you put money in it too?
I'm joking.
Oh, that's
I
not
think we all
apologize.
think
We definitely did.
I got one more question. Are those real screws in your ears?
No, they're not. There's a little bar between.
Oh, those are so fucking cool.
You like 'em?
I looked over, I was like, those gotta be real screws.
Yeah. Shout out Christian Stark. He made these for me.
I feel like it wouldn't be an episode of Talk Tuah if I didn't ask my last question. Do I ask it 3 times?
Just ask it.
I'll go around the room. What's one move in bed that makes a woman go crazy?
Oh my god.
I'm sorry.
Why are we asking this? Why are we asking this on after you've made people lose so much money? Like, what? Why? I know someone definitely threw $1 million into Talk Tuah and lost a bunch, and then they go and sit down and watch this and want to know, like, want to get some answers, and this is the final question.
I had to hit you with the final question.
Frank, what's your answer?
No, you gotta go first.
The Hawk Tuah.
I'll go last. It's the forehead kiss, nose kiss. Kiss
There you
each one of
go.
their eyeballs, tell them they're sweet, turn their head. You have amazing bone structure. You have a beautiful side profile. Squeeze them, tell them you love them. And then, then you can have.
There you go. He's a.
I just watch Ricky and do whatever he does.
I'm the Osama bin Laden of love bombing.
Okay.
We can cut that. We can cut that. It's been a pleasure to meet you. You really are a sweetheart. And we're here now. So you have my number.
thank
Hit me up for anything. This is a wacky world you found yourself in.
You're not
A
kidding.
fun one though.
And it's only going to get crazier. And it's very, very important, not even just in crypto, that you have people in your.
And I agree. I think she is a sweet girl, and I think she has a good personality. The issue is she is just surrounding herself with terrible people and tried to throw herself at everything possible. This is like a masterclass of what not to do when you get famous.
in your life that you can lean on and ask for advice to. And I play that role for a lot of people in this industry, and it's what I'm most passionate about. Peace, love, and Hailey Welch. Hawk Tuah. I love you.
I love you.
Cool.
Okay. So that is the end of that. Was there any questions answered? I don't think so. I think the only thing that got explained is that she was extremely ignorant going into this. She's not some mastermind who's playing dumb to steal all this money, and she doesn't have any of the money. She's just dumb. She just allowed for all this to happen. As far as like the developer goes, they're scumbags. I think they tried to explain in here that they were being transparent but that's like in the contract with the lawyer. The lawyer had to put that in the contract to make sure they did that. So, will any of these people get their money back? I don't know. If this was an actual uploaded if this was an actual uploaded episode of the Talk Tuah podcast, then I think there's a high chance, honestly. I think there would be a big chance of her coming in and buying the coin and taking control of it, and then it may be actually becoming successful over time if she learned how to use it properly. But in its current state, this is a leaked episode, meaning I don't think this actually happened, or any of this stuff that they talked about in this podcast came to fruition, you know? So I think people continue to stay screwed, honestly. At least they always got little Hawk Tuah to think about in their mind when they look at their bank account and all that money's gone. They can just think about how funny Hawk Tuah was. And then they can go to bed.